What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy. Oh, what doggy is it? Some doggy. I think it's Porter 4-5 over coming through and boosting up the coin. So, man, I gotta be honest here. This was one of the most. People often say it. Obviously, all the clickbaiters. Oh, most devastating KO. This was a worrying KO. Legitimately. You know what I'm like. I don't really have no. I think these fighters are doing a well-paid job, especially at this level. So I'm not someone who cries about fighter health and whatnot. I don't necessarily have much empathy, or it don't make me feel some type of way. But when I saw this guy, looking like Makhmudov, man, had a stroke or something. Like this, I thought I was legitimately, my heart dropped, and I thought it brought me down to earth. This is a dangerous game. A dangerous game. As it happens, we need to find out what the actual situation is. But it looks like it happened behind his ear and down a bit. So if you move your jaw like that, yeah, you can feel it. To me, it wasn't him having a stroke. It looks to me like the ball joint, essentially, the joint of his jaw has come out. Fucking no, man. Fucking no. Been dislocated. Initially I thought, oh my, his brain's been cracked and it's 100% looking like Tower 7. It's all just melting down and collapsing in there or something. I think it's probably a broken jaw. Either way, devastating from FABIO Wardley, and I genuinely hope FRAZER Clarke's okay. I don't say that often because I don't really care, but I genuinely do, because that was nasty seeing that. As far as the fight's concerned, I mean, going into it, I didn't put any money on it because I thought it was 50-50, but I backed FRAZER Clarke based on his jab in the first fight. Again, this is another lesson for me. What is the lesson? I've been saying for a while, and I've ignored it in this situation. Go with the aggression, man. In this day and age. In this day and age, they ain't got no chin, and their heart's weak. Not FRAZER Clarke. Well, FRAZER Clarke's chinny. We can conclude that. I think he's chinny. I do think he's chinny. More evidence of that will come out if he continues to fight on and he fights people like Chisora. Chisora probably put him down as well from that overhand right. Chisora and Wardley are similar in as much as Wardley's younger and he's quicker and he puts his combinations together better. But that leaping overhand, Chisora will come in and just wing it off and it will whack FRAZER Clarke right there again and probably knock him out. So FRAZER Clarke is chinny. There's no doubt about that. Even before he got the knockout punch here, he got clopped and he was on skates. And the same with the first fight. The minute he gets hit anywhere, he's on skates. So his chin's no good. It's not necessarily his chin anywhere. He's soft to the head. You've got Alexander Usyk, who is categorically soft to the body. And then you've got FRAZER Clarke. If I had to pick one athlete who's soft to the head, it's FRAZER Clarke. I like FRAZER Clarke, but he's soft to the head. We're not going to do the whole, oh, he injured. So that's a fact. I hope he's well, genuinely. From the bottom of my heart, I really hope he's safe and healthy. But you're still soft to the head, right? That's what we have to tell the truth here. Homosexuals come on here and say, oh man, we can't talk about it. Let's talk about it. You soft to the head. Skeptical to the head. Big questions. Amir Khan to the head. You got an Amir Khan cranium. Bottom line. You can't hold a shot. The first thing that lands, FABIO Wardley is on paper powerful. Yes, he's looking red hot right now. But there are still questions for me with Wardley. He comes in very aggressive, but he looks like an accident waiting to happen, if that makes sense. That said, it's great to have his spirit in the game. His spirit. The first fight, he was not happy with himself. So that psychological switch we talk about, I'm coming in there to do some serious harm, you plumber from Liverpool. That is valuable in today's age. Dana White said it. Being hard and being wanting to fight, which a lot of boxers unfortunately don't have. The UFC's full of it. The UFC's full of guys who want to fight. That guy the other weekend who fought Pereira, he was bust up and he was still trying to have half a go. Boxers today, they don't really fancy it like that. And Wardley, he fancy it. That said, he's only had, I think, 10 fights or something. Let's have a look. Wardley, boxer. I think he's had 17 fights, actually. He had no amateur background, though. But you know what? That reminds me. I'm done with amateur background. Amateur background carries no weight with the YB. I'm not interested at all. It carries no weight. Let me tell you about all the bum Olympians. You got that guy Anthony Agogo. He was like a silver medalist, right? He's no good in the pro ranks. You got Ben Whittaker, top Olympian, no good in the pro ranks. Anthony Joshua, gold medalist allegedly, no good in the pro ranks. Tony Oka, gold medalist, no good in the pro ranks. Josh Kelly, top amateur, gets in there with Dave Avanesian, an old, half decent fighter, pro fighter. He's no good, falls apart. Or the guy on 2 days' notice. Josh Kelly's all this background and whatever else, all this twitch. He gets in there with a guy on 2 days' notice, and he's going life and death. If that was a 15-round fight, Josh Kelly would have been knocked out for sure. Right? So forget about. I'm not interested. I'm not taking into unless your name's Alexander Usyk, where you can see it there, or you've shown it. I'm not interested in amateur. Any amateur now who comes up and all they've done is amateur, it carries no weight to me at all. Because for all that amateur and all that silver bronze medal that Clarke got, you can't take a shot, which you clearly cannot find out in amateur boxing, right? For whatever reason. And, yeah, that's what ultimately it made a difference, did it? You got a white collar guy here. You can say Frazer Clarke's only had 10 fights. It didn't matter how many fights he had. How many more fights do you need? You've had 10. He's only had 17 and no amateur background. And he blow your back out. Straight on you like you robbed something. That is to Fabio Wardley's credit, but the amateur shtick now, it's over for me. I wouldn't even bother. Amateur's only good for your bag, if that makes sense. It's good to get you seen by promoters so you can come into the game at a high level. Like Ben Whittaker, who's no good. I told you that. All the Ben Whittaker mistakes, I said, this guy is an accident waiting to happen. And I actually made some coin on it. I'll show you the receipts in my next video that I put out. Oops. And I would have made more money. I put a tenner on Cameron after whatever round it was. After round 4, I think, I put a tenner on Cameron to win at 10-1. Because all the Ben Whittaker homosexuals was... You man don't know boxing. I hate to break it to you. All the faffers. And for a long time, I didn't know boxing either. But I know now. I'm going where who's hard. Who's hard and wants to fight. That's what I'm going every time now. Forget about, Ben Whittaker. I can do more, but I just don't want to. He tries to do more, got punched up. I like Liam Cameron. Great, he should have won that fight. Fact, he quit, Ben Whittaker. But he's not, come on now. Liam Cameron's not Gennady Amar Golovkin, is he? Do you know what I'm saying here? He's not Beterbiev. And Whittaker's in there going life and death. So all you can, Whittaker, it turns out, all the guys you punch up in sparring is for nothing. Because like Devin Haney, when it comes to actually fighting, you can't do it. So Ben Whittaker's shtick is, he can't punch for toffee and he has to run around. And even then, that Ezra guy with slow feet was half on him. Catching him bent out of shape. Like Josh Kelly, the same thing with Avanesian. Come in there hard, hands up, chin down, and stick it on these amateur guys who flashy, they fall apart. Yeah? They fall apart because they can't fight, ultimately. I hate to break it to you, man. Oh, the homosexuals, YB, but Ben Whittaker, he has a chain on his neck and he has tattoos. But YB, he wears these high-top trainers from Adidas. Oops. He can't fight. Clarke, I've digressed here, but Ben Whittaker, he pissed me off. Get Ben Whittaker out of here, man. Light skin looking ass. I told you this. Anyway, I'll keep digressing here. Back to the Wardley-Clarke situation. Wardley and Clarke. Wardley is leaky. He is, unfortunately, I like his aggression. But he is an accident waiting to happen, I believe. And he's quite light. I think he's 230, 240. Someone like Bakoli, even Zhang. Bakoli, Zhang. You can be aggressive when you're in there with soft Huggy Bear. With a soft Huggy Bear. Frazer Clarke soft to the body and head. Right? Essentially. Got a big old bulbous soft body and a soft cranium. So you can become wading in this thrashing with your chin in the air and crossing your legs over. You can do that with Frazer Clarke. Forget about Danny D. Because when you're rushing in, bosh, with that stiff right hand jab, you're going to hold that. And you end up like AJ. So, Wardley, he should be kept. He still only had 17 fights. He should be fighting now. I wouldn't mind seeing Joe Parker, actually, because Joe Parker can't punch. Joe Parker versus Wardley will be interesting. Why? I think Wardley's aggression might help him there. That makes sense. It might take Parker off his game plan. Parker's right now good at boxing. He's a well-balanced boxer, in and out. Wardley might be able to match him with aggression because Parker can't punch. But someone like Zhang going to be there, posted up like this, yeah. Wardley's going to come winging in from his waist, like Joe Joyce, similar to that. Wardley's quicker and more ferocious than Joe Joyce, but still, same principle. Bakoli will just be too big. Bakoli's got 30, 40 pounds, and Bakoli will be calm in there, like old George Foreman, be giving it this and that. Yeah, and then Bosh, he'll get clipped as well. Danny D will do a demolition job on him. That'll be a great fight, though, for the fans. For whilst it lasts. So you best believe. Because Danny D too big, too strong. And the jab will just pop. Danny D could just give him the jab and knock him out, probably. I'd back on Danny D knocking him out with a jab. Because FRAZER CLARKE beat him up last time with a jab. I'm being unfair here. I like Wardley. Yeah, respect to him. It's not easy to give a man a stroke. That's for sure. But there are levels, is what I'm saying. I'm not sure of his ceiling. He's knocked everyone out. He's fought, though. That has to carry some weight. Who has he fought? Adelele, again, another bum who's pumped up by Frank Warren. And Clark. He never looked that great. Clark were going life and death with Dave Allen, life and death with Marius Wack. Nathan Gorman. Come on now. Who should be next for Wardley? Let's think. Well, he's the British champion. I'll tell you who should be next. Italma or Johnny Fisher. Johnny Bosh. That's what should be next. That's where I'd keep Fabio. Fabio's going to want the money, though. I'm telling you, that'll be interesting. That's a 50-50 fight. Wardley versus... I'd back Wardley over the Romford Bull because he hasn't been tested yet. And Wardley has been tested. He does want to fight. Romford Bull looks good and dangerous. We haven't seen him take a shot yet. And I can see him unravelling. Them Essex boys, they give it the chat, but that's all they are. They got chat. Let's see if he wants to fight. And I'm not convinced. I'm really not. If it gets tough in there, he'll be looking, oh, my Instagram, Bosh. What about my Instagram, Dad? Oh, Dad, should we have a Chinese? Bosh. So I think I'd back Wardley in that. But that's the kind of fights I want for Wardley now. Italma. And Toga's got the cash to put it on. Unless Wardley can get a Parker. I'm not even sure where Wardley's in the rankings. Let's have a look. World heavyweight rankings. I don't really remember Wardley's name knocking about. But he needs a Parker now. He don't want a Danny D. He does not want a Danny D. That's the last thing he'll want for him. I'm telling you now, for his health. You could put him in there with Usyk. He's never going to get that fight, though. There's people chomping at the bit to get Usyk. Because Usyk can't punch. So he get boxed up, probably. You get boxed up. Usyk could box the head off Wardley. He'd box his head off. Wardley would be trying to lunge in and cross his feet. And Usyk would ping his head all around. He'd get pinged around because he ain't got the fundamentals. Because Ben Davison, he just want to get people to swing hard. Which is good against bums with soft craniums. Like FRAZER CLARKE. That's good. It clearly is good. It worked well. Salute to him. First round. Didn't expect that. I expected Clark to win. So he's proven me that. The sustainability of that style, though. Let's not forget, that same chinny FRAZER CLARKE, you're life and death with. Do you understand? So on your day, you may have come in red hot this time, knowing what you need to do. It's one thing knowing what you need to do with someone soft to the head. What you do when someone's in there who can also... Clark can't punch either as well, by the way. He can't take a shot and can't punch. And he's got no cardio. So you know, come on now. It's a complete different ball game. Or Hrgovic. Right? Hrgovic versus Clark. I'd back Hrgovic. I would. I'd back, even that's against my principle of aggression. But Hrgovic isn't soft, though. He was putting it on Dubois. He hasn't come out faffing around. He got the fight beat out of him. Could Wardley do the same as Dubois? It's possible. But that's the kind of fights now, I think, for... See, Wardley's not even... How is Italma above Wardley? That's ridiculous, people. I'm sorry, that's fraudulent. The WBO heavyweight rankings, you've got Italma at 6 and Wardley at 8. What has Italma done? The WBO is notoriously corrupt for Frank Warren as well. That's how Billy Joe got all his belts. Bum, vacant WBO belts. That is ridiculous. How can Italma ever be above Wardley when Wardley just knocked out Clark? Make that make sense. Even if you say Wardley had a draw with Clark the first time. Italma hasn't got a draw. He ain't done... What's he done? Nothing. It's ridiculous, man. So that shows in itself I think these dudes here, Zhang, Bakoli, Caballero, they're in their own. They've done too much now. They've done too much. You can't put Frazer Clarke on a Frank Sanchez's level, can you? You can't put, even for Parker, you can't put Frazer Clarke on, who's done nothing. He hasn't even got one good win. You can't really put Frazer Clarke on any of these levels. So Wardley need a Hrgovic or an Anderson. It's a losing fight though, but let's see if Anderson can come back. Anderson, even though he got punched up by Bakoli, he was having a fight though. That'll be interesting actually. Wardley versus Anderson. That's an interesting fight. There's a bunch of interesting fights. Wardley versus Chisora. That'll be a money fight potentially for Wardley. Exciting as well. So those fun fights is what I'd put Wardley in. You don't want him in there with a sublime boxer, I don't think, who's got a chin. You don't want him in there with Usyk, Dubois, Bakoli, or Zhang. That's the last thing you want. I don't think he'll get them anyway because of the reasons I've said. He's not up there. Hrgovic, forget about Ortiz, man. If Frazer Clarke, Fabio Wardley get a Wilder fight, he's not going to get that though. Miller, that's a banging fight. That's the one. Fabio Wardley versus Jarrell Miller. They've both done the same. Andy Ruiz is no different to Frazer Clarke, man, in that sense. And if you consider how they both won, one was devastating and Jarrell Miller went points. That's what they need now. Fabio Wardley versus Jarrell Miller. If he can't get a UK barn burner like Johnny Barsh or Moses Atalma. But Moses Atalma will be higher risk, and the reward, I wouldn't have thought. It depends what Turkey does. Normally, these guys coming up like Johnny Barsh and Moses Atalma, they want the British belt. So, fighting Wardley makes sense for their level. They've both got, Johnny Barsh is at 16, 17 fights, Wardley's the same, Atalma's got 10 or 11 or whatever. They're all knocking around the same level. That's the level, man. With Jarrell Miller, he's not in. Someone said he's fringe world. I wouldn't call him fringe world. There's a clear world class now. Yeah, there's a clear world class. That bracket of 6 fighters, but he's in the one below that. I guess you call that fringe world. That's all he's going to get anyway. He's nowhere near title contention. But there's exciting fights for him, and that's what having balls does, folks. I've been quite critical of Fabio, but I do salute him. He could have easily gone in there and psychologically been like, oh, that was a tough one, I'm going to have a look now. He came straight on it, so that is a high premium. And he's a very exciting fighter. They should make exciting fights for him. Johnny Fisher comes forward and puts his hands together, allegedly, so far against bums. That's an exciting fight. Jared Anderson, exciting fight. Jarrell Miller, exciting fight. I'd forget about the Hrgovic, to be honest. It won't be as exciting. Miller's right in front of you to be hit. Johnny Fisher's allegedly right in front of you to be hit. And Anderson's there or thereabouts as well to be hit. Those are the 3 I'd lock in for. I don't think Eddie Hearn's stable's washed. He is not going to want to lose Johnny Barsh. That's all he's got, really. Who's he got now? Who's Eddie Hearn got? Seriously. Name me one fighter Eddie Hearn got right now who's premium. Who's like that guy? Johnny Fish ain't done nothing, but you get the point I'm making. Who's the one you can look to? That's how far he's fallen. You have to go down to the copper box type coming uppers, like Johnny Barsh, to even mention, to get Eddie Hearn to get a look in edgeways. Anyway, salute to Fabio Wardley. For what we've seen, I want to really play. Well, I don't want to play because of the footage, pagans, but if I remember rightly, it was scrappy, man. It was. Let's have a look here.
Caught him on the temple, high on the head, I think.
So he's turned him here. This was a schoolboy error. Let's have a look. I want to see when he steps in.
And he's trying to cover up on the ropes.
Jab. Legs crossed.
One of those big winging overhands I was mentioning.
And at this point, I say it all the time, but trainers really shouldn't teach clinching. Because at this point, Frazer Clarke's trying to clinch. And when you focus time trying to open your arms up and spread them out, essentially the worst thing you can do, because you're right open everywhere. You're focused on grabbing someone and not fighting. Tuck in there, man. Even Bivol, yeah, he tried to clinch a few times, but probably 10 times out of 36 minutes. Most of the time, use your eyes, not to try and grab someone's waist or whatever. Use your eyes to defend the hands coming at you. The hands that are coming at you, they're what can hurt you. Clinging on, it opens you up, and you see it here. Frazer Clarke's trying to cling on. Watch.
He caught him on the...
He's focused on trying to cling on.
Temple high on the head, I think.
And now he
You
gets
could
caught.
just see the
Now he gets caught
leg-
out of bent out of shape. Yeah, that all started from Fabio Wardley was focused on fighting. He's watching the hands. He's trying to set his feet up to get land shots. Frazer Clarke's focused on hold on to you like the Huggy Bear. Even now at this point, he had real reaction to turning when he got turned on the ropes.
Put high on the head
He's
of
trying to clinch. This reaction here is really slow. Watch.
thinking you could just
He gets caught bent out there, not looking, not
see
focusing,
the
not quick. If you go over the ropes like that, you need to do a Lomachenko Usyk and pivot 180 degrees back in. There's no good labouredly coming round.
legs to a little
Now he's a heavy bag.
bit of a dance
Now he's food.
and left
Now he's fish food for sure.
hand get through it.
He's fish food. He wasn't actually as scrappy from Wardley as I
Get through it.
expected. And really, I criticised Usyk saying, "Oh man, he didn't commit enough." You can't have it both ways, YB. Right? I do think there's a balance. Is what I'm getting at. Perfect boxing is a balance. I tend to think Wardley leans more on the swinging from the waist than not. There's a balance. You've got Usyk who has too much of a look, and when someone's gone, they don't want to commit. And then you've got Wardley who's just swinging hell for leather without much thought, which is good when you're fighting guys like Clarke who can't punch, has no chin. Wardley's never been in there actually a real heavyweight. Fact. Adelele, what's he done? Beat bums. Right? A proven heavyweight, the likes of even Jared Anderson. Miller can't punch. That will be a good one. I think that's the best one. Pitching Wardley's career right now, it's got to be Jerome Miller because he can't punch. So you can risk being a bit sloppy, and his feet are really slow. Wardley will have quicker hands, feet, and be more nimble. He'll be able to get in there. He'll look like a boxing star against Jerome Miller. I'd back him to win that fight, actually. That would be a great fight, though. And there'll be enough homosexuals to back. I think Jerome Miller probably goes in favourite because of his name value. But Wardley will win that. Anyway, salute to Wardley, man. True, devastating performance when he didn't have to. He could have cacked his pants like most people do. Oh, it was tough the last time. Salute to him. And I wish Frazer Clarke all the best as well, because that was grim. But more likely it's a draw. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, knock off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this. Some people stop it.